Hey everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to draw a hand in a C position. So grab your pencils and let's get drawing. So first things first, the C position is kind of this position, basically the right hand making a C. So what you want to do is just try to start off with some of the outlines, and you have your wrist down here and this is the thumb. If the thumb is here, you'll have the nail, and you'll probably have just the portion of the nail over here. And the thumb will kind of come like this and over here, and we'll basically go up and around. And from there, the finger, you'll have the knuckle here and a knuckle here. And the index finger will basically go up and joint, and actually joint, and you'll go over, joint, and down. Not quite down, but we'll call it over, okay? Nail here, so there, and back. Very rough, but I think you know where I'm going with this. Knuckle, knuckle, and then back down to the wrist. This is the rough way to draw this, so hopefully you're not too worried about what you see right here. And let's see if we could just clean this up a bit. I think the wrist needs to go back ever so slightly. If we get that wrist back, this wrist line should be more over here, I think. And then as a result, this kind of comes around like that. So you can see already this is looking a lot better. Not perfect just yet, but at least we're in a position where it's starting to be a little more proportionate. So hopefully you are seeing that as well. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of just look at my lines everywhere and just see if and how and where I can kind of clean this up. So what I'll do is I'll speed this up as I do a refresh and just look over. I'll be right back. I won't be too long, but we'll just do a quick touching up at this point. So hang with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. What we really did was just clean this up, clean up the outer lines. It does take a little time to do, but it is important, and there's no point of rushing it if you're not really happy with what you have at the end. It's probably because you rushed some of the outer lines. Drawing hands is tough, and the toughest part is when you are a little bit off in some positions, what sometimes happens is you kind of look at your drawing and you kind of say, well, you know what, this is how I envisioned it, and it's usually because something is just off ever so slightly. So again, important to just take your time making your outer lines. Even that there, the nail should really just be seen by ever so slight amount. So, you know, I just wanted to clean that up as well. So keep that in mind. Let's see, in the middle, because the position is like this, in the middle is the finger, the middle finger. So that middle finger is kind of like this, and over and down, and then tucked back like this. Sometimes, let's see, sometimes you see the remnants of the other ring finger below, so we will draw that. And the finger, this middle finger that's here kind of goes like this, and then goes down and like this, and then goes back like this. That's really all it does, and this area is going to be dark, and it's probably dark because the other part of the finger is there, and it's just like a dark zone. So I'll probably get a darker pencil and fill that in, but for now, that will stay shaded like that. Okay. You have a bit of jointing over here, and a bit of jointing over here, so you can certainly draw those two joints if you want, which I do recommend. And you can also put some shadowing just over here and shading, just as I'm doing as well. So around the knuckle part, you might have a couple joint lines like that, and then you might go down. And even over here, you might be inclined to just get a couple, I wouldn't say like fold lines, but just like a couple lines like that, right? So that's basically what we're trying to do over there. Let's see how our proportions are doing. Looking pretty good. I don't see any real issues per se, but you don't want this to be too low because the finger is like that. You're actually looking at a cross section of the finger. So don't be afraid to make that thin, even though it might look a little odd. Once you realize you're positioning it, will look a lot better that way. See what I just did? So I'm happy with that. I would say that the joint here is a little low, so we could probably get this joint just topped up just ever so slightly like that. And then just kind of like back around, right? So too many lines here might look weird, so we want to just kind of clean that up, right? That's all we're really doing here. So we are getting there. Yeah, so that middle finger is there, and I'm going to erase this guideline that I put on. So the middle finger is there. It is kind of this position like this. So yeah, what you want to do is just start to just review, and there's definitely some darker tones down below here. So this is definitely dark. Okay. So what I would say at this point is let's work on the shading. I'm going to go through and do some shading. Give you a couple facts. Did you know that 1/4 of all the bones in your body are found on your hands? So 25% of all bones on your entire body are actually found on the hands, which is quite incredible because it's such a small area of the body but has so many bones. So keep that in mind next time. Next time you're thinking about the body and the human body and things like that. So when we are doing the shading, you can just start towards the bottom part of the hand. You might have some darker areas because naturally there's less light hitting the bottom parts of the hand. So you basically just get some pencil lines down below. And you can also, knowing that the hand curves, right? Knowing that there's some curvature to this body part, you can draw your shadow lines just with some curvature. And then in a second, I think you know what we're gonna do is we're just gonna like use our smudge technique to kind of let this bleed out on the page, as they say. So basically gonna do that. What I'm gonna do at this point is I'll speed this part up. I'm gonna continue doing shading throughout the rest of the drawing. I'll meet you back here, and when I do, we'll basically finish up this drawing. So hang with me, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. We basically just did all the shading, just kind of touching it up and just kind of seeing what's right and what's wrong and what looks a little better. I think the wrist is a little more from the side versus the top, so I just wanted to thin that out a little bit, and you can see I did just that, just trying to make it look as realistic as possible. Other than that, I think we're pretty good. I mean, hopefully you enjoy the drawing, and hopefully you did well as well. Let us know how you did. The last part of the drawing that I always like to do is maybe just anything that's smudged out of place, you can kind of just grab your eraser and clean it up. You know, doesn't have to be perfect, but it is nice to finish up your drawing with just the ever slightest little bit of cleaning up, and I'll do that with you. I'll do it with you here on the video, and that's it. So just remember that that little piece below is the ring finger tucked below, very dark, and this is just a little bit of a see-through that just happens to be dark as well. But other than that, I think we're pretty good. So at this point, I'll say thank you so much for watching and have a great day.